Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about the absolute best products that I've tried of 2024 so far. This is part 2. Hey guys, today I'm going to be sharing my absolute favorite products of 2024. This is part 2 of this video. I did part 1 back in March. I like to do these quarterly just so we can kind of wrap up all of the different things that I talk about. I do end up talking about so much makeup over the course of the year. I just shared the worst makeup that I tried, so now we're moving on to the best. And these aren't just things that I liked. They're things that I absolutely loved that I would 100% recommend to you guys and that I've continued to use once I stopped testing things out. So these are basically the best of the best. So if that sounds good, be sure to stick around. If you like honest makeup reviews, be sure to hit the subscribe button, and let's go ahead and jump right in and get started. All right, so let's go ahead and just go through these in no particular order, starting with this lip oil from Winky Lux. This lip oil was such a surprise to me. I bought it on a whim when I was at Target, and lip oils can be hit or miss for me. Some are really thin and they actually feel like an oil, and others have that thicker, cushiony, more plush texture that's like a non-sticky lip gloss. And that's the kind that I prefer. And this is absolutely perfect in just about every way. It is so silky on my lips. When I wear this, I just keep rubbing my lips together because it makes them feel so smooth and soft. And also the scent is incredible. It smells like cake batter, and the slight little tint of pink that this has adds just a hint of color, but it's so easy to wear. This is the type of product I can just keep in my purse and put it on with no mirror and be fine. So this is what the color looks like. It's just super subtle, and I feel like it just gives me that your lips but better kind of a look. It also makes my lips look so smooth. It makes the fine lines disappear. So this is one of the best lip oil formulas that I've tried, and I keep hoping that they're going to come out with more shades at some point because I think there's only 2 or 3 colors. So we'll see if they do. Winky Lux is a really small brand, so I'm not counting on it, but that leads me to another lip product that I love so much. I ended up going back and buying multiple colors. These are the REM Beauty Glossy Balms. So I started with this shade, which is called Juice Box. And it's a dark purple in the tube, but on my lips, it is the most perfect shade of pink. When I first tried this in a video, I loved it because on my skin tone, cool tone pinks can often turn peachy or warm, so I usually gravitate towards purples, especially when it comes to blush and lip products, because the purples end up looking just cool tone pink on me. And this was just the most perfect color, and so I ended up going back to Ulta and getting 3 more shades. So I just want to show you quickly some swatches and what these look like on my lips. Now, these are not super pigmented. They're a lighter gloss, but they have that really, again, cushiony, very nourishing feel, similar to like a liquid lip balm. So they're very comfortable to wear, they're non-sticky, and they just leave your lips with a hint of color, which is just perfect for every day. They're just more casual makeup, and that's what I'm wearing 9 times out of 10. So most days I'm just slicking on a gloss to go out and run errands, and I don't really care if it lasts a long time or if it has a lot of coverage. It just gives me a little bit of a polished look, and I just love how these look and feel. They also have an incredible vanilla scent as well. So this is one of my favorite lip purchases in a really long time, as you can see by the fact that I went and bought more colors, and I think there's still 1 or 2 that I don't have, so I'm probably gonna get those at some point too. On the other side of the spectrum, there are 2 matte lipsticks that I ended up really loving, even though I wasn't expecting to. The first one is from Westman Atelier. These are their Lip Suede. So just be forewarned, these are really expensive, and I got them during the Sephora sale, so I did get a little bit of a discount on them, but they're super pricey. I mean, the packaging is incredibly luxurious, very heavy, strong magnetic cap. They're beautiful, and I ended up getting 2 colors, so again, I'll just show you swatches of what those look like and what they look like on my lips. But what blew me away about these and why I ended up going back and getting a second one, because initially I only bought one, is how smooth they are and how they don't make my lips feel dry. That is so hard for me to find. So in this case, I felt like it was worth the money to buy another one because they are just so smoothing. Most matte lipsticks make my lips look drier and the lines are more apparent. They have like a cracked look to them. And that's why I usually go for glosses or lip balms. But this is just such a comfortable formula to wear and they're really pigmented. So one swipe and you're good. They are super super thin and they don't feel like anything on your lips either, which is awesome. And they barely have any scent to them. It's a very, very light vanilla, but overall I was just super impressed with those. Then a couple weeks later, I tried these from Freck. These are the Makeout Club Soft Blur lipsticks, and I was kicking myself for spending all the money on these. I mean, maybe not kicking myself because I'm still gonna wear them, but these are super close to the formula of these without the high price tag. These were in the $20 range, I wanna say. And again, even though they're a matte lipstick, they're a beautiful smoothing formula that's not dry. I could wear these all day and be totally fine. And I feel like because these are more of a matte formula, they have better staying power than a gloss would. So I like to wear these if I know I'm gonna be out for a while and I want my lipstick to last. They're not 100% transfer proof, and neither are the Westman Atelier ones, but they're also not a smeary, smudgy formula that's gonna come off if you take a few sips of a drink or something like that. They last a while. So I was also very impressed by these. This is a formula that if I find myself wearing them more and more often, I might get some more colors. For now, I'm happy with the two that I have. And same thing with the ones from Westman. I don't really feel the need to go out and buy more unless there's a color that really speaks to me at some point. But if you also struggle with really dry lips and matte lipsticks not looking good on you, these are two formulas that I think you might want to check out. They're really, really good. Next up, I have to give a shout out to Sigma. They had launched these soft coverage brushes and they are so good. I have been using these more than almost any other brush in my collection lately. They're all face brushes. They're so velvety soft. They actually remind me a lot of BK Beauty brushes, which are what I always used to use before I found these. I still love BK Beauty, obviously. They're still one of my go-to brush brands, but I was so happy to see Sigma kind of stepping up their game a little bit. The ones that I use the most often are the Soft Coverage Foundation Brush. This is an angled foundation brush. It is so soft when you put it on your skin and it blends your foundation seamlessly. I used to use a sponge more often than a brush, and I've kind of gone back to using a brush after this because it's so flawless. They also have an angled concealer brush that, again, like, it just feels so nice when you're putting it under your eye. These are just really kind to your skin. Sometimes brushes, if they have like a little bit of scratchiness to them or some of the hairs are kind of starting to come out and they scratch your skin, these are not like that at all. They're so well made. Also, the Soft Sculpt brush is kind of like an angled, or not angled, but it's like a flat blush brush, but I love this one, you know, for contour if you're getting under your cheeks right here. I even sometimes just use it like the flat side if I'm doing my blush more this way, and it's perfect. The Soft Angled Cheek is the angled one, so again, great for blush. I actually use this one for cream products because it is so dense. I use the flat one more for powder, and this is just perfect for either cream, bronzer, or blush. It's amazing. And then the last one is the Precision Powder, which I don't really use all that often because I usually don't powder, but it has a nice angled shape. It's just perfect for like getting right up under your eyes if you're gonna powder there, or like in the crevices around your nose and things like that. So this is a really nice brush. The whole range is just great. So I just wanted to shout out Sigma really quick because like I said, I've just been reaching for those so much, and I do have a coupon code with them as well if you're interested in purchasing anything. Next up, the NYX Buttermelt blushes. I did a whole video on these. I tried them on, swatched every color, and I was so impressed. I know I talked about their Buttermelt bronzer in the last video that I did like this back in March. That one was amazing, so I knew that these were gonna be great. I'm actually wearing this purple one today, which again, on my skin tone, just shows up as a cool tone pink. And these are very pigmented, so just be careful with them, but I love how silky and blendable they are because even if I wear a dewy foundation and I don't powder my skin, these will still glide on top with no problem. They don't grab to any weird areas. They don't look patchy. They're just one of the smoothest blush formulas I have ever tried, hands down. And it's awesome that they're so affordable from the drugstore. So those are just fantastic. Highly recommend checking those out if you haven't already. Another blush that isn't new, but I tried it very recently, are the RMS blushes. These are called the Redimension Hydra Powder Blush. And oh my gosh, these are just so beautiful. They have a little bit of glow, but they're not highlighter glowy. I know I mentioned in my worst of 2024, the Rare Beauty blush that is just over the top glowy. It's like a highlighter. These have just the tiniest little amount of sheen, and it's not sparkle or glitter. It's more of a pearlized finish. So it just gives your cheeks this little bit of glow without drawing too much attention to pores and texture and all of that. No matter what, if you're not using a matte formula, it's going to highlight that a little bit. But these are some of the least offenders in my opinion. I think they just look really smooth on your cheeks despite the glow. And I started with 1 or 2 colors, but I have just kept on buying these because they're just so beautiful and I'm kind of addicted to them now. So I've been wearing those like crazy. And speaking of RMS Beauty, they win the bronzer category for me this quarter. I have a cream bronzer and a powder bronzer from them that are just phenomenal. The powder bronzer is also their Redimension line, and I have it in the shade Beach Walk Betty, which is the perfect bronze. It's not orangey. It's just an amazing neutral bronze shade with almost like a little hint of red in the formula. So it's absolutely perfect on my skin tone. And I did talk about these in a recent RMS Beauty video that I did. And also their Buriti bronzer is a cream formula that is also just the perfect color, and the texture just melts right into your skin. It is so easy to work with. So here's what that one looks like. And this one has just the slightest little bit of glow as well. But again, it's not glittery or shimmery at all. And it's a little bit more subtle than using the powder one. So when I used this in that RMS video that I did, I was just like blown away by how beautiful it looked on my skin. Now I did try several other liquid bronzers throughout the last couple of months. And you know, I thought the Makeup by Mario one was nice. It's a little bit on the sheer side. I think the RMS one gives you just a little bit more color, but same kind of vibe. Very natural looking and has that slight bit of glow. I also thought the one from CoverGirl was nice too. And I know I showed this, I think in the same video where I tried out the Makeup by Mario one. This one also is just very sheer. It's a great drugstore alternative if you're interested. This is their True Blend Skin Enhancer. So they have a highlighter version, and then this one is the Jelly Bronze Glow. And this is also such a pretty color and texture. So you can see as I blend it, it has this nice jelly feel, and it just is so subtle. So if you're kind of a bronzer phobe, or you don't want to look too tan or over the top if you have a more fair skin tone, I think this is just beautiful. It's a nice color too. I think I like the shade of the RMS one a little bit more, but I also feel like this one isn't too orangey. I think it's really beautiful. Those were my favorite bronzers. Moving on to a couple of things that I got from Shop Miss A. I did a whole video trying out the $1 makeup from that line as well. And this foundation was near the top of my list. So this is the AOA Lab Soft Matte Foundation. And this reminds me so much of the CYO foundation that was discontinued, the Life Proof one. That was one of my favorites, and this is so similar to that. It is really creamy. It looks good on my dry skin. Even though it says soft matte, I would say it gives more of a satin finish. So it's very skin-like, very natural looking. I have the shade L2, so I'll just show you what that looks like really quick. And if you want to see me applying this too, I did in that video. I thought the shade match was pretty good. And out of all the foundations that I'm going to talk about in today's video, this one is probably the fullest coverage. It's not like full coverage, but it's medium to full, I would say. You can sheer it out a little bit if you use a sponge, or you would just apply a little bit. And I do think a little bit goes a very long way, but I just loved how this sat on my skin, and it is $5, I think, which is just insane. I thought this applied as well as a lot of higher end foundations that I have. It's really beautiful and definitely worth checking out. I also have to shout out these AOA Studio Petal Pop blush duos. So you have a cream and powder blush in both compacts. And I wore this orange one in a video. I can't remember which video it was now. I think I was wearing an orange dress, and I picked this out to put on my cheeks. And I got so many compliments on my blush in that video. People were commenting like, what blush is that? And I had to tell them like, it's a $1 blush from Shop Miss A. The cream blush, I mean, you just touch your finger to it and it is insanely pigmented. And then you have the powder that coordinates. So you can either layer the powder on top of the cream for more staying power, although I feel like the cream has pretty good staying power as it is. So here's the cream underneath, and then there's the powder. So that's the Bloomers one. And then I'll show you the other one really quick, which is called Petal Pushers. And this one's a cool toned option. I have to say the powder blush in this one doesn't really show up. It's really light, but I love it just for the cream blush alone. So here's the cream, which is a gorgeous cool tone pink. And then here's the powder one up here. You can't really see it. It's like the faintest pink ever. It's almost white, but like, look at how beautiful these are. I just want to put the cool tone pink on my cheeks really fast. I know I'm wearing the NYX purple blush, but you can literally just dab these on with your fingers, or you can take something like this angled Sigma brush and just kind of blend it. No streakiness, no patchiness. It dries right to a powder. You would never know that this was $1. I honestly prefer these over some of the cream blushes that I've gotten at Sephora. Like seriously, they're so easy to use, great staying power. They're incredible. And then the one other thing that I got from Shop Missy that I've been using nonstop, and I know I've used this several times in like try on, get ready with me videos since I got it. This is the Artista liquid eyeliner. So I have this in the shade dark brown. And I mean, it's just a liquid liner, but I mean, it's just as good as something like the KVD tattoo liner or the Stila Stay All Day liquid liner, which are the ones that I was using. This is $1 and it is so easy to use. It never skips. It just draws the line perfectly. I've had this now for a month and a half, almost 2 months. It's still going strong, so it's not like something that's going to run out really quickly. And also it's long lasting. I noticed that when I do a wing, with this, the wing doesn't disappear after like an hour or two. It's there even at the end of the day. So anyway, I'm just continually amazed by Shop Missy and the quality that they have for $1. I don't know how they do it, honestly. And they even donate to charity with some of the items. So it's just mind-blowing to me. Another liquid liner though that I really liked a lot is this one from Judy Doll, and this is called the Slim Liquid Eyeliner. I also got this one in the shade Deep Brown. And this one is even slimmer than the AOA. So if you're somebody who has hooded eyes like me and you just want to draw the absolute skinniest line on your lid, this is perfect. It's also a brush tip, and I do prefer those to felt tip. Actually, I should show it to you next to the AOA so you can see just how tiny this is. So I would say the AOA is probably like a standard size liquid liner. This Judy Doll one is just like, it's almost microscopic compared to it. So it's really simple to use. I'm just going to swatch these quickly. I'm going to do a heavier swatch so that you can see the colors. I forgot to swatch the AOA one too. Okay, so these are both in deep brown. The Judy Doll is on the top and the AOA is on the bottom. So the Judy Doll is a little lighter and warmer. The AOA is a really, really deep brown, almost black. Another product from Judy Doll that I love, I'm wearing it on my eyes today, was this palette. And it doesn't say what the palette's called anywhere on here, so I'm gonna have to put it on the screen. But I got this from Yes Style along with a bunch of their products, and I really liked almost everything that I tried from that brand. These are just the two standouts for me, the palette and the liquid liner. So this is absolutely stunning if you like cool tones. You have these really gorgeous taupey browns and the two shimmer shades. This one's a little bit darker. This one is a little bit lighter. I'll show you guys swatches really quick, but I just thought the quality was excellent. Now the shimmer shades are glitters, so if you don't like glitter on your eyes, you're probably not gonna like this palette, but the glitters are super fine. They don't irritate my eyes or anything like that. They remind me a lot of the Natasha Denona Wet Look shadows. They're very similar, and they just give your lids a wash of color without being too heavy or too pigmented. And the matte shades in here are gorgeous as well. Very creamy, very soft and velvety, easy to blend. So I was definitely impressed with this palette, and I have been wearing it on and off since I tried it. It's really good. And another eyeshadow palette that I thought was just fantastic is this new one from Viseart. This is the Paris Reveries. These colors are right up my alley. I just love the purples. These gorgeous shimmer shades are just so stunning. And it's a palette that doesn't run super deep. So it's not going to be for smoky looks. I mean, you could create smoky looks with it. It does have 1 or 2 deep shades, but for the most part, this is just a great everyday palette, especially if you like purples and neutrals. It has some cool tones, some warm tones. I just think it's a really balanced palette that you can create a lot of different looks with. So I've definitely been enjoying that one as well. I think it's beautiful, and their formula is top notch. It's so great. great. There were also a couple more foundations in addition to the Shop Miss A one that I really loved over the past couple months. The first one is the Fenty Soft Lit Foundation. This one, compared to the AOA Studio, is lighter coverage. I would say this is more of like a light to medium, and it has more of a luminous finish. I wouldn't say it's glowy, at least on my dry skin. If you don't have dry skin, it might be a little more glowy on you, but I find that anything with a glow kind of mattifies itself really quickly on my dry skin. This one ends up being kind of more of a satiny finish with maybe just a hint of glow, but it is so creamy. It's so hydrating and nourishing. I just think this is one of the more comfortable foundations to wear. I'm actually wearing it in the video today, and I've been wearing it constantly. It's so beautiful. So I have it in shade 150. And like I said, I just love, like, look at how this just kind of melts right into your skin. It's very thin and lightweight, even though it's a little bit creamier. So it's pretty much effortless to blend. And it's not one of those formulas that sits on top of your skin and kind of moves around. It sinks right in, but it doesn't highlight my pores or texture or sit in my fine lines. I think it just looks really natural, even on drier and more mature skin like I have. So I was really impressed with that one. It might be my favorite foundation of the year so far. And then we also have two new drugstore formulas. So we have the CoverGirl Clean Invisible and the e.l.f. Soft Glam Satin Foundation. So I would say both of these are very similar to each other. They both have a satin finish, both lighter to medium coverage. They're both extremely thin formulas that almost feel like a tinted moisturizer, but with more coverage. So I love that kind of texture, and it's something that I gravitate toward a lot. It's sort of like a skin tint, but it covers more than a skin tint, if you know what I mean. So the CoverGirl one is actually a relaunch of their old clean foundation, except it's in a tube instead of that bottle that you had to kind of pour out. And also this one doesn't have the Noxzema smell anymore, which used to break me out. So I love that they redid this one because I loved the clean foundation in terms of, like I said, how thin the formula was, how beautifully it sat on the skin, but I hated the fragrance. So they've taken that out, which is amazing. And the e.l.f. one, like I said, it's super close to the CoverGirl. It honestly looks flawless on my skin. I did a whole video on this as well. So if you want to check that out and me applying it, definitely, you know, I think I actually applied the CoverGirl one in a different video. So if you look back on my main channel page, you'll see these in the thumbnail of the videos that I use them in. The only thing I'll say is that CoverGirl, I think, has a better shade range in that they tend to put more of a pink undertone in their foundations, at least from what I've noticed over the years, where e.l.f. is a little bit more yellow. Now, if you have a pink undertone, you may prefer the CoverGirl shade range. If you don't, then you may prefer the e.l.f. So I'll just show you the two shades that I got. In the e.l.f., I have 21 Light Neutral, and in the CoverGirl, I have 120 Creamy Natural. So I don't think either one of these is the best shade match for me. So I'm gonna have to go back to the drawing board and see if I can find maybe a better match. I bought both of these online, so I'm hoping if I see them in store, I'll be able to pick something a little bit better. But shade match aside, I just love the formula of both of them. I think they are just fantastic. So all four of these foundations have my stamp of approval for dry skin and more mature skin. These are all great. There were also a few things that came out from Katrice that I really loved. The first one is this Magic Shaper palette. So I did an entire video on all of Catrice's new releases in case you want to check that out. But this just completely wowed me. I wasn't expecting to love it as much as I do, but it reminds me so much of the Makeup Forever $88 cream palette that they have out. I do have that one as well, and I actually like this one just as much, if not better. I think this one's just kind of a pared down version of it. You have a bright kind of peachy coral blush and then a cool tone pink. You have two highlighters and then two different bronzers. So it's compact and easy to use, and this formula is just so effortless. It melts right into your skin just like the Makeup Forever. It's very thin, easy to blend. They dry to a powder finish, so they're not sticky. They don't move your foundation around. They're just an absolutely gorgeous formula, and I think this palette is $8 over on Amazon, so it's an amazing deal. And I also thought their Melt and Shine Juicy Lip Balms were fantastic as well. These are kind of similar to something like the Tarte Maracuja Juicy Lips. These are not plumping, so they don't have any tingle or anything like that, but they're just a really nice melty lip balm. And I did try all of these colors on in that Katrice video. They feel extremely comfortable on your lips. I don't think they're as pigmented as the NYX ones that they came out with. Those are really pigmented. These are more sheer, but I also prefer these to the e.l.f. version that came out because I found the e.l.f. ones went on a little bit patchy. They kind of sank into my lip lines and separated a little bit, and these just remained really smooth, just like the Tarte ones. But then also at the same time, they're not quite as thick and goopy as the Tarte formula. So I just thought these were all around an amazing formula for $5 or $6, whatever they are. They're super cheap. They're over on Amazon. So if you like a melty lip balm, these are so good. Speaking of drugstore, I also was really impressed with the L'Oreal Lumi liquid blushes. These were such a nice formula and definitely a step up from the Maybelline Sunkisser blushes that came out recently. I know those kind of let a lot of people down. These are so much better. These are such a beautiful creamy formula that stays on all day. When I put these on my cheeks, they were still there when I went to bed at night, when I went to take my makeup off, and they blend out on my cheeks so smoothly with no patchiness. I think the biggest downside with these for me is that they didn't have any cool tone shades. Everything was a little bit warmer, but I'm hoping that maybe they'll expand the range heading into like the fall and winter. Maybe they'll add some cooler toned options. These are very summery though. They're really warm, very pretty. So as far as drugstore liquid blushes go, these are right up there with the e.l.f. ones for me. I really love them. I think they're great. The IT Cosmetics Sun Blush was also a big surprise for me. I wasn't expecting to love this nearly as much as I did, but it is gorgeous. And when I tried this on in the video where I talked about it, a lot of you were like kind of wowed by it too, because first of all, it's the prettiest color. I got the lightest shade, which is called Sunlit. It's just like a peachy pinky nude. It's really pretty, but they don't have the biggest shade range of these, so I wasn't really sure what to expect with this color. And I just thought that not only was the color beautiful, it blends on your cheeks with almost no effort. It's almost like a pressed serum kind of texture. It's one of the thinnest cream or liquid blushes that I've ever tried. It sinks into your skin in about 2 seconds, so you do have to blend it quickly, but because it's so thin, it's like it doesn't leave any streaks, it's not patchy, and it looks like it's coming from within your skin. It looks like you're actually blushing. So I thought that it was really natural looking and also extremely long lasting. This was another blush that lasted until bedtime for me. So this was overall an amazing pick. Highly recommend that. Kosas baked blushes, I also really loved these too. I know that they've had kind of some people saying they weren't a fan. I don't know if it's maybe because they were expecting these to be more glowy like the Milani baked blushes or the Laura Geller ones. These really don't have a lot of glow, to be honest. I felt like they give a little bit more of a satiny finish on your cheeks. The older I get, the more I've come to appreciate not too much glow, especially because I felt like they don't highlight my pores and texture. Overall, I thought this was a really soft formula, very silky. It blended on my cheeks easily, and the colors that they come in are so beautiful. I've really liked these and I've been reaching for them a lot. So I don't know, I'd love to hear what you guys think down in the comments. This next lip product is one that a lot of you recommended to me and I wouldn't have known about it otherwise. So thank you guys so much for letting me know. These are the Romande Glasting Lip Balms, I think they're called. Glasting Melting Balm. So these are another kind of similar product to the Catrice ones that I just mentioned or the Tarte Maracuja Juicy Lips. Even kind of packaging wise, they remind me a lot of the Revlon Glass Shine lipsticks that got discontinued, which were amazing. So I'm actually wearing one of these in the video today. It's shade 9 Peonies. And these are just the most gorgeous, melty, balmy texture, really cushiony and soft. I'll show you all the colors, but this is just the one that I'm wearing today. I love how these look. They have a nice glossy finish. It does wear away like when you're eating and drinking and just as the day goes on, but they feel so comfortable, super hydrating. And really the only thing I'm not crazy about with these is the smell. They have a little bit of like a tropical fruity scent, like maybe guava or mango or something, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but it's also very light. Once I put them on, I don't really smell it anymore. And it's not the type of lipstick, you know, fragrance that gives me a headache throughout the course of the day, like the floral ones from L'Oreal or anything. So I don't mind that they're scented. Like I put this one on right before the video and I don't smell it at all. So again, thank you so much for recommending them to me. They're just one of my favorite lip balms lately. So Anyway, guys, I think that's everything that I have for today's video, but I would also love to hear what your favorite products have been in 2024 so far. Do they match up with any of my favorites, or do you have other things that you've been loving? Let me know your thoughts down below. And as always, I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch this video. I truly appreciate it, especially if you made it to the end, so thank you. And if you'd like to watch part 1 of this video, I'll be sure to just put it right up here so you can check that out next. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all in my next one. Take care. Bye.